Hey everyone, this is Lisa, and this is my little video tutorial on how I shade skin in Paint Tool Sai, along with a little couple of tips and tricks. So this is one art we're going to be using. A woman in this picture, her name is Johanna. If you're a Ghost Adventures fan or a Bobby Mackey fan, you know who I'm talking about. Now this actually isn't the first time I've drawn her. This was the first time I drew her. Yeah, my style has changed a lot. Drew that like, I think 8 months ago. But anyway, so since I've improved a bit, decided to draw again. Now, I had initially recorded this for a speed paint, which I'm still going to be doing, but been wanting to make a tutorial like this for a while, had the material, figured, oh, why not? So, obviously, first thing you're going to need to do, color the skin. Decided to make her skin tone a little bit lighter in this version than I did in the older version. I don't know why, just wanted to. So, gonna go ahead and color all of that in. Now, go ahead and figure out where your light source is coming from and shade accordingly. I use a pen tool. You can use whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Wanting it to look more like a portrait, so I'm trying to have it to where the light is kind of showing on her a little bit. The shading around is from where light's not hitting her, hair is in the way, whatever. So, as far as blending goes, I'm going to go ahead and skip over shading the rest. As far as blending goes, I, like everyone else, use the water tool. However, I'm actually going to tell you how I do it. A lot of people say, oh, I use this, and leave it at that. What I do, if you have a tablet like me, when I'm doing shading like this, I try to go in one direction, and I'm barely touching the tablet with my stylus. If you've done pencil shading before, it's pretty much the same idea. So, I'm going to fast forward through all of the shading, all the shade coloring, because you're pretty much doing the exact same thing over and over again. And song that I'm going to play, well, this is fast forwarding, but it's a really cool guy that I met on YouTube, Maxwell Powers. I'll post a link to his YouTube in the description box. Cool guy. Spoke to him online a couple times, and yes, I do have permission to use this. Just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. So anyway, this is You and Me by Maxwell Powers.
You and me, the static between us, our voices combining, rising to the surface. Across the city, blue lights will linger, make smart girls feel pretty. The tip of your finger glows like iron and silver. The wires beneath us just the flux and solder. Bloodlines that keep our hearts apart. When all you want is another shot at affection, all I want is a chance to take what I can get. It's all in all. When the city rises above us, all we have is our hearts.
And I'm back. That song's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Not a bad thing, that's a cool song. Not my usual style, actually. I'm more of a Slipknot, Korn fan. It's more Jason Mraz, but it's pretty cool. I like it. So, tip number 1, and this is going to seem a little strange at first, but just bear with me. So, take a kind of a light to medium blue, and using your airbrush, add a little bit of this blue to the shading. No, I'm not trying to turn her into a smurf or anything. Just, again, bear with me. Take your blur tool and just blur that out. Kind of adds another dimension to the skin coloring. Pretty cool effect. Actually just recently started using this. I've been practicing a lot. So, I like the effect. Now, next thing we need to do is the highlighting. It's going to be a short little thing here, because you're pretty much doing the same thing as you are with shading, but with a lighter color. I'm choosing kind of a pale yellow color for this one because she's tan. And anywhere you think needs some shine, just add it there. So use the water tool on this too. So tip number 2, secondary lighting. Just erasing a little bit of the shadow that's just inside the line art. Adds a little bit more dimension to it, I think. Now, you can just erase where you feel it's needed and leave it at that, or you could smudge it out, whatever. It's all up to you as long as you're happy with it and it looks good. One little thing I do, and this is step number 3, I create a new layer right underneath my shading. Set it to luminosity, and I'm using the same pale yellow color that I used to highlight earlier. And just kind of smudge that out with the blur tool a bit. And it has a pretty cool glowy effect. Like I said, it's not necessary, but cool little added extra. If you want to use it, feel free. Something I should have mentioned earlier. Each color of shading has its own layer. I know some people do all their shading one layer. I can't. I don't know why. But I have each shade in a different layer. So the last thing I do before I consider the skin done is I take all the shadow layers and I merge them into one. And I take my blur tool, set its density to about somewhere between 30 to 50%, and just gonna blend the colors a little bit. And the skin is finished. Now, I didn't bother erasing any of the skin color where the hair color is because I always put the hair layer right above the skin layer, so don't see the point in erasing if I'm just gonna have another color over it. But anyway, that's the end of this tutorial. Hope you like it. Follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, yada yada yada. Once again, the song that you heard earlier is You and Me by Maxwell Powers. I'll not only post his YouTube link, I'll post a link to his personal website, because if you really like the song, if you want to hear the whole thing, free download on his website. So thanks to him for allowing me to use this. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Later.